Hi everyone, this is a video response that the WickerBoy tagged me in. It's a 10 question horror tag. Thanks for tagging me as well. It's the first time I've done one of these, so very interesting, very hard to do as well. Had a good think about it. I probably would change some of these actually in the future, but this is the 10 I've come up with anyway. First question was the first horror film you ever watched. I've always liked monster movies, but I'm not going to include that. I've always liked things like the Ray Harryhausen films and Jason the Argonaut, Sinbad, all them sort of things. King Kong. I used to like the Universal monster films as well, but the first time I really sort of got into horror, I think the first film I ever watched was A Company of Wolves, which I suppose is more of a dark fantasy, but had some really good gore in it for the time as well. I remember the bit where the one guy turned into a wolf, he rips his face off and that, because the wolves are sort of wolves on the inside, so like he sort of rips all his face off, and that is a great film. I still love it to this day. I've got the Region 1 Hen's Tooth release of that. Wouldn't mind getting the UK because the Hen's Tooth one is a little bit grainy, but yeah, the first horror film I ever watched, proper horror film, I think the proper one, Company of Wolves, because I've always watched monster movies and that, but I'll put the answer down as Company of Wolves for that. The favourite horror movie, this is like nearly impossible question because I've got so many favourites. It's definitely got one from the 80s because the 80s was probably my favourite period. The one that always sticks in my mind, the one I seem to re-watch again and again, the original Fright Night. So the one with Roddy McDowall and Chris Sarandon. So that's a brilliant vampire film. Little bits of comedy in it, great special effects, all practical effects as well. Really well paced movie as well. So I'll go for that one for that. Favourite horror movie, Fright Night, the original Fright Night. The favourite sort of horror film genre. Another one's a bit tricky really. Recently I've been starting to watch a lot more of the occult type films and things like devil worshipping and religious cults and things like that. I find a lot of them films interesting. So at the minute I'm going to go for occult movies. I've been watching things like The Legacy. I've really enjoyed that recently. Obviously Rosemary's Baby, things like that. The Sentinel, Michael Winner's The Sentinel, that's another one that was sort of like that. So I'm going to go for occult movies anyway, but obviously, some of my favourites are from different genres, but for this one, occult films. What genre scares you the most? I don't really get scared of them because at the end of the day, they're just movies, but there's a couple of things that unnerve me in that, and I think the ones that have sent a shiver down my spine more often than not, probably Asian ghost films. The Asian ones tend to be the scariest. I don't know what it is about them, but they just get the atmosphere spot on. So, what genre scares you the most? Going for Asian ghost stories. The last horror film that scared you? There's not really been many. There had a few that sort of shocked me before, and ones that sort of left an impression in my mind. Things that's made me look behind me and that when I've been walking in the streets and things. But I think the last film that sort of made me sort of not to say scared so much, but exhilarated, I think is the one, and that was the original film Wreck, the Spanish Wreck. The last 20 minutes of that movie was such an intense movie, and I think after the film finished with that, I just sat in the sofa for 10 minutes, just sort of open mouthed. It was such a stunning film as well, Wreck. It was a great movie, and that did sort of unnerve me a few times. I did feel a little bit uneasy on some scenes of that. So, last horror film that scared you, Wreck. Ultimate Scream Queen. It's definitely going to be one from the 80s because that was my favourite period, and the one that always springs to mind, I think, for me for the 80s was Linnea Quigley. She was brilliant in like Night of the Demons, Return of the Living Dead. She was a great, still is a great Scream Queen, but definitely Linnea Quigley anyway, so I'll go for Linnea Quigley, Ultimate Scream Queen. What concept would you like to see in a horror film? Another really hard one because everything's been done. I mean, it doesn't matter how far out it is. You've had films about killer slugs, zombie beavers, car tyres as in rubber, car tyres that were alive. I don't think anything has not been done. So I was going to pick something off the top of my head, and zombie priest says, well, no one's done a zombie priest film, so there's a new concept for you. Night of the Living Dead, but set in a church, as a new one for you. So, zombie priests, a bit of a strange one, but that's all that sprung to mind at the minute. Favourite on-screen kill? This is question 8. A lot of really great screen kills, really. There's so many to choose from. I think one that sticks to my mind is Frank's death in the first Hellraiser film. The first death when he gets pulled apart with the chains. And that was really gory for the time, like 1987 or something, was it? Or something. And he pulls him to bits with the chains and the hooks, and bits of his face are on the floor. And I think one of the Cenobites puts the fat bits of the face together to form Frank's face. And I remember seeing that thinking, what a cool kill that was. And he didn't really see anything like it in 1987 for that, so I'm going for that. Frank's in Hellraiser. Favourite horror franchise? I nearly picked Hellraiser, funny enough, for my favourite horror franchise. I do love the Hellraiser films, but the thing that sort of stopped me picking that, the last few Hellraisers were a bit poor. I really like the first four. The first four Hellraisers are great. I even like Bloodlines. I thought Hellraiser 4 Bloodlines is really good. But the fifth, was it Inferno, was okay. And then they started really getting a bit bad, and I think I'm not going to pick Hellraiser just for the fact that the last few films were a bit poor. And instead I'm going to go for the Texas Chainsaw movies, because I love number 1, I love number 2, I even think number 3 is really good. It's a bit different to the other two, but I've got the unrated version and the UK sort of cinema release of the Texas Chainsaw 3, and I do really enjoy them. All the remakes are really pretty good as well, you know, the beginning and all those ones. So I'm going to go with Texas Chainsaw. So that's probably going to be my favourite horror franchise there. And then the best horror film director, I'm going to pick one here that probably not many are going to pick, because it's quite an oldish sort of, from an old era. Most people tend to pick like John Carpenter and people like that, you know, Dario Argento. I've got a big respect for all them directors, but they have done a few sort of stinker films, really, haven't they? They've done some brilliant classics, but they've also done a few poor ones. So I'm going to go with Terence Fisher, who basically did a lot of the Hammer horror films. A brilliant director. He just got the atmosphere spot on and everything. And all the Terence Fisher films I've seen, he's never done a bad one. And I think basically single-handedly got Hammer where they were, I think, because, you know, he did the original horror of Dracula. He directed The Curse of Frankenstein. You know, he did a lot of the other ones as well, a lot of my other favourite ones, but he did sort of, he was like the main Hammer horror director. So I've got to go with Terence Fisher there. So, anyway, there's my 10 answers to the questions. So thanks for nominating me, The WickerBoy. And I'm going to nominate 5 myself. I don't know if any of you guys have done it, but if you have, just put a link on there, show me a video and I can check it out. But 5 people I'm going to nominate: Vampire 1444, Horror Ninja 847, Jesse Midnight Crawler, Dead Real, and then Tattooed Reviews. So formerly known as Tattooed Doorman, but yeah, going to them 5 anyway. Nominate all you, tag all you lot. It's been good fun doing this as well. I wouldn't mind doing it again in the future, because see how many questions change and that. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching, and hopefully some of my answers will be the same as some of yours. We never know, but probably got a couple there that no one would have picked. But anyway, see you soon again. I've got an update coming up soon anyway, so hopefully that'll be up in a few days as well. Thanks for watching. See you later.